What's going on, Aces? Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having an amazing Tuesday. So I'm loving this show, Poppa's House on CBS with Damon Wayans Sr. and Jr. He is a radio host and she is a psychologist who is brought on the show as his co-host to boost their ratings. And then Damon Jr. is an aspiring film director. He's not, landed that role yet. So he's working for his father-in-law, his wife's father at his phone company. But it is just such a cute show. They tickle me so much. So episode 2 opens up with Damon Jr. coming over to his father's house. And on a side note, it's based on their real life, right? So Damon Sr., he said that, after he got divorced in real life and both on the show, but he wanted to move next door to be closer to his son and his family. And the kids, his grandkids and his son, everybody just kept coming over so much that they ended up calling his house Papa's house. So I thought that was really sweet. But episode 2 opens up with Junior coming over his dad's house, and he's inviting him over for dinner, for lasagna. And then it shows Damon Sr. going to work at his radio show with Essence Atkins is playing Dr. Ivy Reed. And somebody calls in, they're talking about, they're going through a divorce and he's crying. And of course, Damon is mocking him. And, it's just that classic humor that Damon Wayans has. But Dr. Ivy is trying to listen in and give her 2 cents and, support this guy who's essentially grieving the loss of his marriage. And of course, Damon hangs up on her. And it shouldn't be as funny as it is, but Damon Wayans, he just tickles me. Okay, so the next scene is Damon Jr. and he is going, he's pretty much talking to his wife about his dream to become a film director. Her name is Nina. And they have a really cute dynamic, right? And I love the fact that the Wayans family is so intentional about showing positive images of Black love on network television. It's something that we don't see nearly far enough. So that's definitely highlighted in this episode. So Dr. Ivy Reed comes over to Damon Sr.'s house and she's telling him that in order to boost the ratings of the show, which is why she was brought in, because his show's ratings were slipping, that he needs to open up and be more vulnerable. And of course, Damon Sr. doesn't like this idea. He's a very typical alpha male and very, kind of closed off from his feelings. And she's pushing toward more transparency, vulnerability, and emotional intelligence. So when Dr. Ivy Reed is over there, Damon Jr. and his wife Nina come over and, they're having lasagna together. And so Nina loves Dr. Ivy. She's read all of her books. She invites her to dinner. And so Dr. Ivy's like, sure, of course, I'll stay for dinner. Dr. Ivy's divorced as well. So they all sit down to dinner and they're having lasagna and they're having wine and they're talking. And they bring up the fact that Junior forgot the actual beef. He got turkey meat instead for the lasagna. And so he's like, yeah, I forget everything. And he's making a joke about how he forgets her birthdays and her cesarean dates and her just offhanded things. But Dr. Ivy, she's a psychologist. So, she's overthinking and her mind is always working. And she's like, oh, so you're forgetting major events in your wife's life. That's interesting, And so, of course, it's blown up out of proportion. And the ladies ultimately leave and they go to Damon Jr.'s house and they, take the wine and they're over there talking about relationships. And Ivy is just, pouring her heart out and venting to Dr. Nina, is pouring her heart out. Damon Jr.'s wife is pouring her heart out to Dr. Ivy just about how she feels, neglected and unheard. Because, in relationships, when he forgot the turkey meat, or he mixed up the two, the ground beef and with turkey, that's just surface level, right? What she's really saying is she's really scared about him pursuing his dream as a film director and how, that makes her feel insecure. And he's not providing that security as her husband in that protector role, in that provider role. But there, of course, it comes out in little minuscule things like he forgot the turkey, mixed it up when I really wanted ground beef. And so Dr. Ivy is, she's doing her psychologist thing. She's reading into it, and then she's talking about her own situation with her own ex-husband. And she's like, you do not want to be paying alimony to your ex-husband for the rest of your life and showing up at your parents' house with a duffel bag and, broken heart, essentially. So his dad, Damon Sr. sits him down and he tells his son, listen, he tells him a story about how when he was a baby, he had dreams as well, but he put those on hold because, he wanted to be a DJ back then and he wanted to be a radio host. And so he was able to do so because the regular host of the radio show got sick. But so he quit his 9 to 5, right? Because he thought he had made it. Well, the radio show that was a regular got better. And so he was out of both jobs. So what he ended up doing to provide for his family, because they were like eating rice and beans, he said he did what he had to do. And he got a job on a sanitation truck, on a trash truck, during the middle of winter to provide for his family. He's like, you were wearing my t-shirts for diapers, right? He's like, you owe me a Public Enemy shirt. And so he's like, you, as a man, you have to do what you have to do until you can get into a position financially to do what you want to do. Bars, right? That's so true. So Damon Jr., he swallows his pride. He goes over next door to his house because his dad is like, listen, this is your house. You can't let the psychologist come in and mess up your marriage and put all this stuff in your wife's head. He's like, you got to go home, man up, go get your family back. And so Damon Jr. does just that, right? Like he goes to his house, to his wife, he apologizes, and they're dancing in the living room. It's very sweet. And Dr. Ivy asked Damon Sr., she's like, if there's one thing you miss about marriage, what would it be? And he's like, if I tell you, will you leave? Oh my goodness. And she's like, yes. And so he points to his son and his wife, Nina. He's like, them dancing. He's like, I miss that. I miss having somebody to just, walk the earth with. And he's like, it's really hard walking this earth alone. And she's like, I agree. So I don't know if they're going to end up getting together. That would be the predictable story route, but we'll see. But I do like the dynamic between Damon and Dr. Ivy, or Poppa, I should say, and Dr. Ivy, right? But they're both great actors. I love Damon Sr. and Essence Atkins. They crack me up. So in the last scene, Dr. Ivy and Damon Sr. are back at work and they are, on the radio. And so she tells him that she appreciates him opening up and, that he inspired the title of her next book, Two Wrongs Don't Mean I Ain't Right. And so, the laugh track in the background is going off, but I think they're in front of a live studio audience. So I think that was the audience laughing. This show is just so cute and silly. And so he ends the scene with he puts a song on the radio for a dedication to her. And she's like, oh, that's sweet, and he's like, yeah. And his Black Eyed Peas, shut up, just shut up. It's just a cute, silly show. But I'm enjoying it. You guys, let me know your thoughts. Are you watching Poppa's House? I really hope that they renew it for season 2. I think it's just cute and charming. Like I said, it's just, I feel like there's a void. And maybe this is because I was a 90s kid and I grew up watching the sitcoms like, TGIF and like Family Matters and Fresh Prince. And, I feel like there's a void for that, right? Those classic sitcoms. And even the ones that we did have, like the Bill Cosby show, it has that unfortunate shadow over it because of Cosby and his crimes. But they could never make me hate A Different World, though. I love A Different World. And when Debbie Allen came on A Different World, it was just like magic in a bottle. So I am glad to see Damon Wayans back on the TV, network television, and it definitely makes me smile every time I watch the show. So you guys, let me know your thoughts about Poppa's House episode 2. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.